Hey, what's up? Welcome back. Patrick here from All Things Mathematics, and moving on to the next midterm question dealing with matrix algebra. So which of the following here, so it's going to be a multiple choice question, can be the second column of the inverse of this matrix A right here, mn, -4, and 2. So this is a good question. So basically, the trick here is that if we let A, -1 represent the inverse, let's add some variables here. Let's say this is like A, B, C, D, like that. And they're saying for the inverse, which of these can be the second column right here, this B and D value? Well, if this is the inverse, this is the original, we know, let's do it down here, that basically A times the inverse of A is going to give us the identity matrix, right? Which is going to be 1, 0, 0, 1, like that. And so from here, let's actually write out both of these matrices beside each other. So if we take A, right? So A is M and N, -4 and 2, and then we're multiplying it by the inverse, which we let be this matrix. That's going to be A, B, C, D. We know that the result of that multiplication is going to be the identity matrix, 1, 0, 0, 1, like that. Now, what they're asking for is what can this second column be over here? Well, we know that the first row of this first matrix A multiplied by the second column has to be this entry, right? The row or the entry in the first row and the second column, right? So we know that M, let's write it up here, N times B plus N times D has to equal 0. However, what's the problem here? Well, not only do we have these variables B and D that we're trying to figure out what they can be, we also have this M and N, and we don't know what that is, right? We don't know. Those are also variables here. And so there's no way to tell which of these can be B and D because M and N could be anything. We don't know what it is. And so we don't know which of these is going to give us 0, right? Because we don't know what M and N is. However, we can use this second row for the first matrix A. If we're taking the second row of the first matrix, multiplying it by the second column of the second matrix, that's going to give us the entry in the second row, second column, which is basically this 1 here. So we know that -4 times B plus 2 times D has to equal 1. And now notice we can use this because here we have actual values, -4 and 2, not just any values, M and N, which we don't know what they are going to be, right? Meaning that we couldn't use this first row here of this matrix, multiplying it by the second column, making it equal to 0, but we can use the second row of the original matrix A, multiplying it by the second column of the inverse. That has to give us that entry of 1. And now basically what we can do is just basically plug in these here for B and D, right? This is B and D because these represent potential second columns of the inverse. And we could just see which one of these is going to satisfy this, right? So if we plug in 2 and 4, -4 times 2 plus 2 times 4, that's going to give us 0. That's not going to satisfy it. If we plug in 0 and 4, -4 times 0 plus 2 times 4, that's going to give us 8. That's not going to satisfy it. Over here, -4 times 1 is -4 plus 2 times 5 over 2. That would give us 5. So -4 plus 5, that does give us 1. So notice that this here is satisfying it. And then let's just do this one to double check. So 5 over 2 times -4, that's going to give us what? -10 plus 2 times 5 over 2, which is going to give us 5. So -10 plus 5, that gives us -5. That also doesn't give us 1. So this is the only option that is going to satisfy this equation, right? So that could be the second column of the inverse. Okay, so basically one more time to kind of show you what's happening. If we actually put this column here, right, into the inverse, this 1 and 5 over 2 like that, again, we don't know what m and n is, so we can test it with this by taking the first row, multiplying it by the second column, seeing if it equals 0. We don't know what m and n is. But if we take -4 and 2, multiply it by 1 and 5 over 2, second row, second column, second row, second column of the identity matrix is this entry of 1, that pivot point of 1, right? So -4 times 1, -4, plus 2 times 5 over 2, which is 5. -4 plus 5 does indeed give us 1. So the answer to this question is C. And that is the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you want to find more videos like this, you can go to my website, allthingsmathematics.com. Over there, all my courses are organized for both high school and university. All the videos are organized by chapter. Also, if you have any questions, you can hit me up. My contact details are also on the website. Enjoy your day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.